So, hello everyone, welcome to my review of My Academia episode 75, right? Or episode 12, season 4, and yeah, another great episode, of course, following the tragedy of the meeting of Mirio, and I mean, it's just a really sad portrait in that sense. We see him keep fighting, he keeps struggling to move forward, right, trying to protect Ari and so on, and Ari at the end here had some good, like, she's kind of her resolve kind of starts her. And I like seeing that, yeah, we kind of see her going back to him, but also in a way, kind of going to help Deku and so on, right? So that's a good part there. But, overall score, we had a Deku versus Overhaul, the fight is starting, and damn, man, Overhaul is so OP. I keep taking him, he's so damn OP! So powered, yeah, incredibly imbalanced character. He's like, oh, I can do this thing as well, because my power can do this thing. I mean, I have to say, I feel his power something doesn't make sense, right? I mean, I guess it kinda can do that, but he's like, yeah. I mean, if his powers are he's very creative with his powers. He must be one of the strongest users. If you think about it, his powers, just doesn't just like delete people. He can also like, I can also like build my own arms, so I can fight with that, and he has some stuff going on there, yeah, and. He is incredibly dangerous, as we saw with Sensei there, and I mean, it keeps getting worse in that sense, right? I think that Sensei moment is also, for that matter, it's a good characterization moment, right? I think that's fair, yeah. I think that's probably the biggest thing. If we talk about the fight later here, Sensei first here, because Sensei, I feel, is a great moment as he's a very reserved, he's a very calculating man, right? It's very much like, I see, yeah, it's very much like that, right? And in the moment of his rage, right? In the moment of Sensei seeing that Mirio has been, of course, depowered, he loses his cool, right? Yeah, because otherwise Sensei is always that, calculating guy, and yeah, then he loses his emotional control, and he goes crazy, and he fights him, and he, yams at him, and he's like, I will read your future. He's like, oh shit, my future's bad. Yeah, then he's like, oh wait, I can't beat this guy. Doesn't help if I read his future because he's too fast and efficient for me, right? And that, I feel, is definitely Sensei's problem, right? I mean, generally. I don't want to go too much on the scene, but it's a marvelous scene in. It must be the Siege, yeah, the Siege. The scene where it's a guy that can read people's minds. Slash sees a kind of future how he can move. He's like a martial artist master. He can also read your inputs basically. He fights Quicksilver, yeah, and Quicksilver's like, he's like, damn it, yeah, and it's just, I can see every punch coming in my mind before they arrive, and then he punches me anyway, yeah, and it's just horrible because it's too fast, right? He's just incredibly fast. It doesn't help you can read his mind how he's gonna fight you, because it's kind of like you can't avoid it anyway. It's a great fight, and I mean, Overhaul and Sensei isn't really the same thing, he's also super fast and so on. But I think it gives you that moment where he's like, I can read your mind, bad guy. He's like, well, yeah, but I am next to you and I have all these really OP powers, bam, I kill you anyway, right? So I just stab you with this thing anyway, yeah. And it's like, oh shit, reading this future here didn't really help, it made it worse, because I could see myself getting stabbed, yeah. It didn't really, like, accelerate my winning chance. He's like, oh yeah, he's gonna... Oh yeah, that's not nice. Oh, that's gonna happen now. Oh shit. Kind of like that, right? And so that's tragic. But on the same time, not on the same time, but as I mentioned, I think it's a good scene, right? Because he's breaking his characterization, but not really, right? He's breaking his typical personality, but it's for an obvious reason. So that's why it's a good scene, because he's going from his core, mandates, how he usually lives after, because of course he loves Mirio and so on. He's like, prime student, his boy, his son, right? And he goes crazy over that, and that makes him go into, like a really bad mistake right there. So it's a really powerful scene, and it's fitting that he would, finally do that mistake right after being the guy trying to tell All Might and so on, yeah. So anyway, that I think was a very big scene for me. And then of course we have the Overhaul of Deku, right? And I really like how Deku keep having that brain, right? Deku has that characterization where he's quite good at using other stuff. He's like thinking about powers and so on, which is also used to give him credit because he didn't have powers as a kid, right? And we see him, attacking Overhaul with these like rocks, and he's using things to touch him. All that is great, I feel. Yeah, oh, that's great, yeah. Deku is like, I know how to fight people with weird hands. Yeah, Deku's like, I'm used to people with like destructive hand things, so I know how to fight you, and I think that's great. And he's really showing that. And there was some really good moments there. I kind of liked his staring when they were like, we see them, yeah, both doing this thing, and they're like, wanna fight me? And in the end there, Deku does get some damage, and it really, Overhaul again. I mean, I think that's one of the big thing. The Overhaul constantly seems to be incredibly strong, and he's coming off as incredibly strong here, hurting Deku, hurting Mirio, hurting Sensei, and I think everyone's hurt by the Overhaul. So he keeps doing his best shit right there. But overall, I think that's a great fight, and of course we're gonna see more of that because in the beginning of it. But I really like the Deku. He knows how to fight them. Maybe I guess we can get his fight people with similar powers before, and it's like I know this shit. I'm this thing instead, yeah. And then in the end they with Eri arriving again, right, to kind of like disturb his feelings and so on, yeah, his control. But overall, that is a great episode, and I think especially then with the Sensei loses his control. Yeah, Sensei's rage is the best part, I feel. It really shows you a man that's desperate, a man that can't handle it anymore. Yeah, he's tired of losing his friends, right? Yeah, and then he loses himself instead.